Good evening, class. My name's Allison, and I'm very happy to be presenting to you guys today. When we think about a tribute speech, it's usually something or someone that has really touched your heart, made a great impact on your life, and it's usually a pretty emotional topic. My tribute goes out to the program of Narcotics Anonymous, commonly referred to as NA. I feel very comfortable sharing personal information with people in general, especially people that I just met a week ago. Because let's be real, people judge you based on your past, they judge you based on your present, they judge you based on observations, based on what they hear. I judge everyone. Like, there's no way that you're not going to get some kind of analysis off a person. However, this is the one thing that has changed my life, and I can't not speak about this topic. For the past few years, I've been a committed member of NA. NA has been the most central part of my life. I have used the tools that I've learned to turn my life around. I'm sure all of you know someone who struggles with drugs or alcohol addiction, whether out in the open or behind closed doors. Addiction doesn't discriminate. It affects our husbands, our wives, children, coworkers, aunts, uncles, cousins. It also doesn't discriminate in the sense of age, race, creed, religion, or lack of religion, or what your profession is. Anyone can be affected by this. I'm here to share my experience on how my life was prior to NA, how I came to the fellowship, and what my life is like now. To begin, let's talk about what my life was like before NA. So it's 2012. On the outside, I look like a sweet little 19-year-old girl from the suburbs, but inside, it feels very dark, depressing. I feel chained, like I can never truly breathe freely. By this time, I had moved on from everyday pill use to heroin use. Each and every day, my life consists of driving down to what looks like the gates of hell, just to get my fix of drugs. This area is littered with needles everywhere, trash all over the place, cops scouring the area, and a copious amount of sketchy characters. And the sad thing is that I trust these sketchy characters to sell me my drugs. These drugs that my mind, body, and soul so deeply craves. And this area is known as Kensington, Philadelphia. So more time passes, my addiction progresses. Now I'm 23 years old, and the drugs are no longer solving any of my problems. They aren't making me feel any better like they used to. I have, at this point, tried countless detoxes, rehabs, recovery homes, and I'm basically very desperate for help. I have reached my rock bottom at this point. For 3 days, 3 times a day, I'm calling insurance, crying and begging them to get me a place, get me a bed in a rehab. Finally, I get approved for 21 days, and the whole time there, I try and use this experience to the best of my ability, trying to learn and gain any type of information so that I can successfully live life without the use of drugs. When I get out, I go straight to a recovery house. But most importantly, I get involved in the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous, which is the thing that completely transforms my life. You may be thinking to yourself, what does it mean to get involved in NA? Well, it means you begin attending meetings regularly. You typically meet for an hour to an hour and a half length of time. There's a speaker portion where the person that's speaking shares their experience, strength, and hope, how their life changed, what they did, and how they're doing now. Then everyone else in the meeting gets a portion of the meeting where they get to speak and share either how they related to the message or what is going on in their lives, how, anything that might be weighing on their hearts that's hard for them at that moment. So once you begin attending these meetings, it's important to choose your favorite one, the one you feel most comfortable at, and you make that one your home group. This means that you show up there every week. You help in any way possible. You set up coffee, you set up chairs, you serve as needed. Basically, you become a part of something bigger than yourself and greater than yourself. After being involved in NA for a few weeks, it's time to get a sponsor. A sponsor is the person in the program that you look up to, someone with more clean time than you, who has found a new way of life and can take you through the steps. And they can also be a person that can call you out on things that you may not be able to see, things that might be hindering you in your recovery process. Lastly, the most important part of NA is the 12 steps. The 12 steps are an interactive reading, writing, and verbal exercises that you do both on your own and with a sponsor. This helps you to begin getting a look at your true self, getting to know ways and means to improve your current self, getting to know your defects, your attributes, what you need to work on. This is where the recovery really begins. I began to see the small changes in my life once I started these practices. Lastly, I'd like to talk about what my life is like now. Situations that I didn't know how to handle would come up. I would go to people in the program and I would ask them, how do I respond, how do I react to these situations? I knew what the old Allison would do, how she would respond and react, but I didn't know how to react as this new person I was trying to become. I would also think of people that I respected and how would they respond and react. So little by little, I started to gain these personality traits and make them my own. In order to change, you need a perspective shift. You need to start viewing things differently. You need to have your mind working differently. I often ask myself, is this real life? Is this really me today? Within 3 years of being a member of NA and taking suggestions, applying principles of NA, my life and personality has completely changed. In the beginning, it was little things like picking up pieces of trash. I stopped stealing from stores. I stopped lying to those around me. By 1 year clean, I began to sponsor other women in NA and take them through the steps. I was also able to save a bunch of money. I got my own place. I got a dog. I became a good employee at my job, which all these things were not even like anything I cared about prior to. My life was filled with the blessings of staying clean. People in NA started asking me to share my experience at rehabs and mental institutions, showing others that there is a way out. By the time I had 2 years clean, I quit smoking, I lost 40 pounds, I got back into school, I figured out what major I wanted to have, and I also got a job within that major. None of these changes happened overnight. When we think about a tribute speech, none of these changes happened overnight. Over the time of attending NA meetings, taking suggestions, doing step work, helping others, I began to experience a new hope and strength. The farther I got away from drugs and prayed and applied these principles, the more freedom I was able to experience in the program of NA. NA has made such a difference in my life. I went from being a person who lived in wreckage to having so much hope for the future and possibilities. I will forever be grateful to the fellowship of NA and give back in whatever way I am able to. Thank you.